Have you ever felt drained after spending time with certain people? Like they take more from you than they give back? Today, I want to talk about something crucial: how to protect your energy and your peace. Because not everyone who comes into your life has your best interests at heart. In fact, there are 5 specific things some people will constantly ask from you. Things that can hold you back, weigh you down, and keep you stuck. And the bold truth is, sometimes, the best way to grow is to stay away from those who keep demanding these things. Ready to find out what they are, and why saying no can change your life? Let's dive in. Energy is one of the most valuable resources we have, yet it is often overlooked in our daily lives. Unlike money or possessions, energy is intangible. It cannot be stored or regained easily once spent. Every moment of your day, every interaction you engage in, every thought you entertain consumes a portion of your energy. That's why protecting your energy is crucial to maintaining your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. One of the most effective ways to protect your energy is by learning to recognize emotional drainers and consciously avoiding them. Emotional drainers are the people, situations, or habits that leave you feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, or depleted. They rob you of your vitality, cloud your mind, and weigh heavily on your spirit. Identifying these drainers is the first step to reclaiming your power and safeguarding your emotional health. Emotional drainers come in many forms, but one of the most common sources is toxic relationships. These are the people who, knowingly or unknowingly, suck the joy and enthusiasm out of your life. They often thrive on negativity, complaining endlessly or playing the victim role, which creates a toxic atmosphere. When you spend time with such individuals, their mood and energy often become contagious, pulling you into their emotional whirlpool. You may find yourself feeling drained, anxious, or frustrated afterward, even if you arrived feeling fine. It's important to be aware of these dynamics, because not every interaction should come at the expense of your well-being. Recognizing emotional drainers requires a level of self-awareness that many people overlook. It means paying close attention to how you feel during and after your interactions with certain people or situations. Do you feel uplifted and energized after spending time with someone, or do you leave feeling depleted and heavy? Do conversations inspire and encourage you, or do they leave you caught in a loop of negativity and stress? Emotional drainers often manifest in relationships where there is an imbalance, where one person consistently gives more than they receive, or where there is a lack of respect and empathy. When you notice these patterns, it's crucial to take them seriously rather than dismissing your feelings or blaming yourself. Another hallmark of emotional drainers is their tendency to be overly demanding, either emotionally or physically. They may constantly ask for favors, emotional support, or validation without reciprocating or showing gratitude. This imbalance creates a one-sided relationship where your needs and boundaries are ignored. Over time, this relentless demand can erode your self-esteem and leave you feeling used and unappreciated. Emotional drainers often do not recognize the impact they have on others, or they may even deliberately manipulate to get what they want. Protecting your energy means learning to set clear boundaries and not allowing yourself to be pulled into these draining dynamics. Situations can also be emotional drainers. These might include stressful work environments, constant exposure to negativity on social media, or being caught in conflict-ridden family dynamics. While some situations may be unavoidable, how you engage with them makes a huge difference. If you find yourself repeatedly stressed or exhausted by particular environments or habits, it's important to identify why and seek ways to minimize your exposure. This could mean limiting time on social media platforms that trigger anxiety or stress, creating a more peaceful home environment, or finding healthier ways to cope with workplace stress. Protecting your energy is not about avoiding challenges, but about choosing where and how to invest your emotional and mental resources. The impact of emotional drainers on your health cannot be overstated. Chronic exposure to stress and negativity can lead to anxiety, depression, burnout, and even physical health problems like headaches, insomnia, and weakened immune response. When your energy is drained, your ability to focus, make decisions, and maintain a positive outlook diminishes. This creates a vicious cycle where emotional drain leads to poor health and decreased resilience, which in turn makes you more vulnerable to further emotional draining experiences. Recognizing this, protecting your energy becomes not just an act of self-care but a necessity for sustaining your overall well-being. One of the most empowering ways to protect your energy is by cultivating emotional boundaries. Boundaries serve as invisible lines that define what you will and will not tolerate in your relationships and interactions. They help you maintain control over your emotional space and prevent others from overstepping in ways that drain you. Setting boundaries might involve saying no to certain requests, limiting time spent with draining individuals, or communicating your needs clearly and assertively. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear rejection or conflict, but establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries is a sign of strength and self-respect. It's a fundamental step toward protecting your energy. Learning to say no is a critical skill in this process. It's easy to get caught in the trap of wanting to please others, avoid confrontation, or feel guilty for prioritizing your needs. However, saying no is not selfish. It is necessary for your survival and growth. When you say yes to everything and everyone, you risk losing yourself and your energy in the process. Saying no allows you to preserve your energy for what truly matters and for relationships that are reciprocal and supportive. It also sends a clear message to others about how you expect to be treated. In addition to boundaries, it's important to build awareness about your emotional triggers. Emotional drainers often push our buttons, intentionally or not, and cause us to react in ways that further deplete our energy. When you understand what triggers your emotional responses, you can develop strategies to manage your reactions better. This might include practicing mindfulness, deep breathing, or reframing negative thoughts. By gaining control over your emotional responses, you reduce the amount of energy wasted on stress and conflict. This self-regulation is a powerful tool in protecting your energy. Another practical approach to protecting your energy is to cultivate a supportive social network. Surround yourself with people who uplift, inspire, and energize you. These relationships act as a buffer against emotional drainers and help replenish your energy reserves. Supportive friends, family, mentors, or colleagues can provide encouragement, offer perspective, and help you navigate challenging situations without losing your emotional balance. Investing in these positive relationships is an investment in your emotional health and resilience. It's also essential to prioritize activities that recharge your energy. These activities vary from person to person, but generally include things that bring joy, peace, and fulfillment. It might be spending time in nature, engaging in creative pursuits, exercising, meditating, or simply resting. When you regularly engage in energy-boosting activities, you build a reservoir of strength that helps you withstand emotional drainers more effectively. It becomes easier to recognize when your energy is being depleted and to take steps to restore it quickly. Sometimes, protecting your energy means making difficult choices, such as distancing yourself from people who are consistently toxic or unsupportive. This can be painful, especially if the relationships are long-standing or involve family. However, your emotional health should never be compromised for the sake of maintaining a connection that harms you. Recognizing when it's time to let go is an act of courage and self-love. It frees you to create space for healthier, more nourishing relationships and to focus your energy where it will be respected and valued. It's also worth noting that protecting your energy is a continuous process. Life is dynamic, and new emotional drainers can appear in unexpected ways. The key is to stay vigilant and attuned to your feelings and needs. Regularly check in with yourself. How do you feel after interactions? What situations leave you feeling depleted? And what changes can you make to better safeguard your energy? This ongoing self-assessment helps you stay proactive and prevents emotional drain from silently creeping back into your life. Moreover, protecting your energy is deeply connected to cultivating a positive mindset. When you nurture optimism, gratitude, and self-compassion, you build a mental environment that is less susceptible to being drained by negativity. Positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring challenges or difficult emotions. It means choosing to focus on solutions, growth, and the good in your life. This mindset acts as a shield, reducing the impact that emotional drainers have on your overall energy and mood. In practical terms, protecting your energy also involves managing your time wisely. Time is a limited resource, and how you allocate it reflects your priorities and values. Avoid overcommitting yourself, and be mindful of how much time you spend in draining environments or with draining people. Schedule regular breaks, downtime, and activities that rejuvenate you. Treat your time with the same respect as you treat your energy, because the two are deeply intertwined. Technology and social media have introduced new dimensions to emotional draining. Constant notifications, negative news cycles, and online arguments can all chip away at your energy without you even realizing it. Being intentional about your digital consumption is therefore an important aspect of protecting your energy. Set boundaries for screen time. Curate your feeds to focus on positivity and disconnect regularly to recharge. Digital detoxes can be incredibly refreshing and help restore balance. Lastly, developing emotional resilience is a powerful way to protect your energy in the long term. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, manage stress, and keep a positive outlook despite challenges. It is cultivated through self-care, healthy relationships, mindfulness, and learning from experiences. The more resilient you become, the less vulnerable you are to being emotionally drained. Resilience helps you maintain your energy even in difficult situations and recover more quickly when your energy is depleted. In summary, protecting your energy by recognizing and avoiding emotional drainers is an essential skill for living a balanced, fulfilling life. It requires self-awareness, boundary setting, prioritization, and resilience. By tuning into how different people and situations affect you, you empower yourself to make choices that support your well-being. This conscious protection of your energy allows you to focus on what truly matters, cultivate positive relationships, and live with greater joy and purpose. It is not only about surviving, but thriving in a world that often demands more than we can give without careful management of our most precious resource, our energy. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define where one person ends and another begins. They are essential for healthy relationships and personal well-being, acting as a form of self-respect and protection. When you fail to set boundaries, especially with people who constantly demand your time, support, or approval without giving anything back, you risk losing your sense of self and exhausting your emotional resources. Boundaries are not just a good idea. They are necessary to maintain balance in your life and to preserve your energy and sanity. Understanding why boundaries are so crucial, how to establish them, and why saying no is sometimes the most powerful thing you can do, will transform the way you interact with others and how you feel about yourself. Many people struggle with boundaries because society often teaches us that being kind, helpful, or agreeable means we must always say yes. From a young age, We're encouraged to be polite, to please others, and to avoid conflict. While kindness and empathy are valuable, these qualities can become a double-edged sword when they lead us to neglect our own needs. Without clear boundaries, you become a target for those who take advantage of generosity and goodwill. People who constantly demand your time, support, or approval without reciprocation often don't respect boundaries unless you firmly establish them. Without boundaries, you are at risk of being overwhelmed, resentful, and emotionally drained. Setting boundaries means recognizing your limits and communicating them clearly. It involves being honest with yourself about what you can and cannot give, and then expressing that honestly and respectfully to others. For instance, if someone frequently asks for favors that interfere with your work or personal time, setting a boundary could mean saying, "I'm not available to help during these hours," or "I need time for myself right now." Boundaries can be physical, emotional, mental, or even digital. They might include limiting the amount of time you spend with certain people, refusing to engage in harmful conversations, or deciding not to respond to messages outside of work hours. The key is to protect your well-being while maintaining respect and clarity. Saying no is the most direct way to establish boundaries. However, many people find saying no difficult because they fear rejection, confrontation, or guilt. Saying no feels uncomfortable because we worry about disappointing others or being perceived as selfish. Yet, the truth is that saying no is a vital act of self-care and respect. When you say no to unreasonable demands, you're not rejecting the person. You're honoring your own needs and limits. It's important to remember that your time, energy, and emotional capacity are finite resources, and they deserve protection. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to something that could nourish or fulfill you. Boundaries also help prevent resentment. When you constantly give without receiving, or when your limits are ignored, feelings of frustration and resentment build up over time. This resentment often poisons relationships and undermines your happiness. By setting boundaries and saying no when necessary, you prevent this build-up. You create a foundation of honesty and mutual respect that benefits both you and others. It also models healthy behavior and teaches people how you expect to be treated. When you respect your own boundaries, others are more likely to respect them too. It's important to understand that boundaries are not about controlling others, but about controlling your own space and choices. You cannot change other people's behavior, but you can control how you respond to it. Establishing boundaries is about reclaiming your power and autonomy. It is a declaration that your well-being matters and that you will not sacrifice it to meet others' demands. This mindset shift is empowering and necessary for personal growth. When you realize that saying no is a form of yes to yourself, you begin to prioritize your health, happiness, and goals. Many people confuse boundaries with being cold, distant, or unkind. In reality, boundaries often improve relationships by clarifying expectations and reducing misunderstandings. When boundaries are clear, people know what is acceptable and what isn't, which creates safer and more predictable interactions. Boundaries help you avoid burnout, keep your relationships balanced, and foster mutual respect. They enable you to be present and generous in your relationships without sacrificing your own needs. In this way, boundaries are acts of love, not only for yourself but for others as well. Setting boundaries can be challenging at first, especially if you are used to putting others first or avoiding conflict. You may encounter resistance, guilt, or even anger from people who are accustomed to unlimited access to your time and energy. This reaction is normal because boundaries disrupt established patterns and expectations. It's important to stay firm and consistent, reminding yourself why you are setting these limits. Over time, most people will adjust, and your relationships will stabilize around healthier dynamics. If someone consistently disrespects your boundaries, despite your efforts, it may be necessary to reconsider the role they play in your life. Emotional boundaries are particularly crucial when dealing with people who seek constant approval or validation. Some individuals are so focused on their own needs that they expect you to provide endless emotional support, praise, or reassurance. This can be exhausting and unfair, especially if your own emotional needs are neglected in the process. Setting emotional boundaries means recognizing that you are not responsible for fixing others' feelings or carrying their burdens. It means allowing yourself to feel compassion without absorbing their emotional weight. Saying no in these situations might look like, "I care about you, but I cannot be your only source of support," or "I need to take care of my own emotional health first." Physical boundaries also matter, especially in personal and professional settings. This might include deciding how much personal information you share, how you allow others to treat your body, or how much time you devote to face-to-face versus virtual interactions. Physical boundaries protect your comfort and safety and communicate your self-respect. Respecting your own physical boundaries encourages others to do the same and creates a foundation for healthier interactions. Mental boundaries protect your thoughts, beliefs, and values. They allow you to hold your opinions without feeling pressured to conform or justify yourself. People who constantly demand your approval may try to challenge your beliefs or manipulate you into agreeing with them. Mental boundaries help you stay true to yourself and avoid being swayed by external pressure. They enable you to engage in respectful dialogue without compromising your core values. Digital boundaries have become increasingly important in the modern world. The constant availability through smartphones and social media can lead to burnout and intrusion into your personal life. Setting limits on when and how you engage with technology helps protect your mental space. This might mean turning off notifications, not responding to messages during certain hours, or taking regular breaks from social media. Digital boundaries help you reclaim your time and focus on what truly matters without being overwhelmed by constant demands. Establishing boundaries requires communication skills and practice. It helps to be clear, direct, and calm when expressing your limits. Avoid over-explaining or apologizing excessively, as this can undermine your message. For example, instead of saying, "I'm sorry, but I really can't help you this time because I'm so busy," say, "I can't take this on right now." Being concise and firm communicates confidence and respect for yourself. If someone pushes back, you can repeat your boundary without engaging in arguments. Consistency reinforces your limits and teaches others to respect them. Self-awareness is key to recognizing when you need to set or reinforce boundaries. Pay attention to how you feel during and after interactions. Do you feel energized or depleted? Do certain people or situations consistently drain you? These feelings are signals that your boundaries may be weak or non-existent. Journaling, meditation, or talking with a trusted friend or therapist can help you identify areas where boundaries are needed. The more you practice self-awareness, the easier it becomes to protect your energy and well-being. It's also helpful to reflect on your values and priorities when setting boundaries. What matters most to you? What are your non-negotiables? When your boundaries align with your values, they become easier to uphold because they are rooted in what you truly care about. For example, if family time is a priority, you might set a boundary around work hours to ensure you're present for your loved ones. If personal growth is important, you might limit interactions that are overly negative or critical. Boundaries become a reflection of your commitment to living authentically and with intention. In some cases, seeking external support can be valuable. Talking with a counselor, coach, or support group can provide guidance and encouragement as you navigate boundary setting. Sometimes, cultural or family dynamics make it especially difficult to say no or assert limits. Professional support can help you develop strategies to maintain your boundaries while managing these complexities. Remember that you don't have to do it alone, and seeking help is a sign of strength. It's important to celebrate small victories when you successfully set and maintain boundaries. Each time you say no or enforce a limit, you are reinforcing your self-worth and protecting your energy. Over time, these actions build confidence and make boundary setting more natural. Recognize that it's a learning process, and it's okay to make mistakes or adjust boundaries as you grow. The key is to remain committed to honoring your needs and well-being. Boundaries also contribute to long-term happiness and success. When you protect your time and energy, you have more capacity to focus on your goals, passions, and meaningful relationships. Boundaries prevent burnout, reduce stress, and improve your overall quality of life. They allow you to show up as your best self, fully present and engaged. By saying no to draining demands, you are saying yes to a more fulfilling and balanced life. Ultimately, boundaries are a fundamental aspect of self-care and self-respect. They empower you to take control of your life and protect your emotional and mental health. Saying no to those who constantly demand your time, support, or approval without giving back is not an act of rejection, but a commitment to yourself. It is a declaration that your well-being matters and that you deserve relationships that are reciprocal, respectful, and nourishing.